Hello and welcome to the Cinemagraph Masterclass. So in this lecture, I'll be running you through the basics of Photoshop and talking about the basic tools of Photoshop so that even if you are a beginner and completely new to the world of Photoshop, you won't be having any problem understanding this image software. And just in case if you are intermediate or advanced Photoshop user, then you can just skip this lecture or you can just carry with it. So first thing first, this is the user interface of Photoshop, and on the left side you can see all of the major tools of Photoshop that we'll be using throughout the course. And if you come towards the right side, this region is called the layers panel, where all of the layers are created. I'll just show you some examples. So if you can see here right now, we have multiple layers here, 1 2 3 4 and so on. So Photoshop is a software which works on layers. It's a compositing software, like meaning you can have multiple layers and then all those multiple layers will combine to create one picture. So having said that, I have one picture of a lemon here that I'll be using for the purpose of demonstration, in which I'll be talking about the major tools in Photoshop that I personally use on a daily basis to create cinemagraphs, and also which you'll be using to create cinemagraphs. And let me just tell you, there are a lot of tools and a lot of options inside filter, but we need not know all of them in order to create a cinemagraph. If you learn all of them, it's very good for you. It will enhance your knowledge and you will become more knowledgeable. But to keep things simpler, to keep things short, in this lecture I'll be only talking about the tools which are necessary and which are totally used in making cinemagraphs. So firstly, we'll begin with this tool. It's called the Move tool, as you can see here, and it is used to move a selection. The shortcut of this is V. So let's say I have this image, and let me just make it a little bit shorter here. Another quick tip for all of you guys: whenever you want to transform any image, okay, then you need to hit Control or Command T, and then if you are on Adobe Photoshop 2019 and above, just drag inside or outside any of the four corners of the picture and the photo will get transformed very uniformly. But before Adobe Photoshop 2019, what was happening was, in order to transform any image uniformly, you had to hold Shift key and then drag any of the corners inside or outside. Otherwise, if you were not holding the Shift key, this is what used to happen and the picture would get distorted very badly. So this is something which they have made changes in Adobe 2019, that you only need to drag the corners without holding the Shift key. Okay, so let me just make it a bit smaller here. So I'll hit V to select the Move tool. I'll drag it, I'll move it around, and I'll just place it wherever I want. So this is what the Move tool does. And you can also move the image using the arrow keys on your keyboard. Okay, let's move on to the other tool. The other tool in the list is Rectangular Marquee tool. And as the name suggests, and if you can see the animation here, it is used to make a selection in the rectangular form, and the shortcut of it is M. Let's have a look at its example. So let's say I have an image of these lemons. I'll hit M. I'll put them in a rectangular selection, and then from here on I can do whatever I want. I can delete them by hitting the delete key. You can copy it, you can cut it. If I want to copy, I'll just hit Control or Command C and then Control or Command V. So as you can see here, a new layer has been created with this particular selection. If I turn the previous layer off, you will see this is the new layer with the selection that we had made using the Rectangular Marquee tool. Similarly, if you right click on the Rectangular Marquee tool, you can see the Elliptical Marquee tool that does the same job but in the elliptical manner. So let me just delete it. I'll hit M. I'll create an elliptical selection around this. I'll hit Control or Command C, Control or Command V. So an elliptical selection has been created. Now you can do whatever you want, you can move it around, play with it, have fun. So the next tool in the list is this lasso tool. And lasso tool is used to make selection which are uneven, which are not of a proper geometrical form. And this has many variants like lasso tool, polygonal lasso tool. Let's just see lasso tool first. And the shortcut of this is L. So let's say I want to make a selection of these lemons. So I'll just click here, and with the mouse button clicked without releasing it, just draw over the area that you want to select. I'm doing it very roughly just for the purpose of this tutorial. I want you guys to just understand the technique and you can perfect it later on. And just come here, and when you reach the starting point, just release the mouse button so a selection can be created. So this is our selection using the lasso tool. Now let's have a look at the polygonal lasso tool. And guys, one more thing, whenever you are done making selection, and if you want to get rid of that selection, just hit Ctrl or Command D. I'll come up here, right click on this, choose polygonal lasso tool, and then I'll just click here and then click here, click here. In this case, you need not hold the mouse button, you just need to click on the places that you want the anchor points to be made. And when you're about to reach the starting point, you'll see a small circle that pops up. That means with that the selection will be completed. Now just hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and this is our selection. So this was lasso tool. Now the next tool that we have is the brush tool, and as the name suggests, it is used to paint, and the shortcut of this is B. So I'll hit B. I'll choose a color, let's say red. I'll create one new layer here and I'll just paint over this. You can make the size of the brush smaller or larger from here. Click on this. You can adjust the size and hardness of the brush. Additionally, there's one shortcut of increasing and decreasing the size and the hardness of the brush, and that is once you have selected brush, hold the Alt key on your PC, click the right mouse button and drag it all the way to the up. You will increase the softness. If you go down, you'll increase the hardness. If you go left, you will decrease the size of the brush. If you go right, you'll increase the size of the brush. And you have to do all of it by holding the Alt key and the right mouse button simultaneously. So this is one very helpful shortcut of brush tool. Now the next tool is the clone stamp tool. Clone stamp tool is used to sample one particular area from an image and then just paste those pixels onto the new area that we want. The shortcut of this is S. So the way to use the clone stamp tool is, first you need to select a region that you want to sample. So let's say I want to sample this lemon and I want to paste it in some region here. I'll bring it over the lemon. So I'll hold the Alt key, and the moment you hold the Alt key, you'll see a small cross here, a thing which demonstrates target sort of thing, and then hit the left mouse button. So that area is sampled. Now wherever you go and you click it, it will paste that sample layer on that region. So this is the clone stamp tool, and it is used to hide imperfections. It is mainly used in skin retouching and also to remove some unwanted elements from the image. You can learn about this more in the further coming lecture where I'll be talking about content aware. So the next tool that we have is the type tool, and as the name suggests, it is used to type, and you can type letters and sentences and paragraphs with it, and the shortcut for this is T. So just hit T, click on the area and just type the letters that you want. So you can increase the size of this. You can basically do a lot of things, and in order to do that, just head over to the Windows, come here and click on character. So you can see this. I'm just moving it here. So you can see this character dialog box. Using this you can make a lot of changes. You can change your font, the size of it, the tracking, and lot many things. So you can just play around with it and get an idea of it. So that was the text tool. Now the next tool that we have is the pen tool, and pen tool is used to make very complex selections. The shortcut of this is P, and till now whatever tools that we had seen for making selections like marquee tool, lasso tool, they do not make as accurate selection as does this pen tool. So let's suppose if I had to make a selection of these lemons, I would simply hit P, then I would click here, then click here, and then drag the anchor points here. Let me just show you, zoom in and properly. Then I'll hold Alt and click on this square icon, so that will remove the anchor point. Then I'll again click and drag it so that it forms a really nice curve. Again I'll hold Alt and click on this icon, and then again I'll go on. So this is how we can go on and on and on. So learning pen tool is very essential for any person who's into Photoshop, and I highly recommend that you please master this, because this is required a lot. And here I'm giving you a very cool website that you can use to enhance your skills of pen tool. This is a really amazing site and it's very fun to learn, so do check it out. You can see it on your screen. So moving on, the next tool that we have is the hand tool, and the usage of this hand tool is that whenever you are zoomed in a lot and you want to move the image, you just select the hand tool using H, and you can just click on the image and drag it wherever you want. Another shortcut for this is holding the space bar. So you just press the space bar, hold it, and then left mouse click, and then you can move your image to the desired direction. And last but not the least, we have the zoom tool, and it is pretty much self-explanatory. The shortcut of this is Z. If you left click on the image and drag it towards right, so you will zoom in, and if you left click on the image and drag it towards left, you will zoom out. So right for zoom in, left for zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. So those were the essential tools in Photoshop that will be required to make cinemagraphs. And like I said in the beginning, there are a lot of tools in the Photoshop that you can learn, but these are the essential ones to look out for. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture and learned something new. I will see you all in the next lecture. Thank you so much.